Okay, so let's start off with the basics that you might remember. Mx plus b, right? Slope and the y-intercept and everything. So something like this would be the same as 2 over 1 x plus 3. Okay. So when you graph that, you start at positive 3. Right, so that's like the starting point, which it is on all the graphs. That's like the k, it moves it up and down. So think of it as been starting at the origin and moved up 3. And in this case, we have the slope, so that's up 2 and right 1. Up 2, right 1. Also go in the reverse direction to get some more points. So down 2, left 1. Okay. Use the straight edge, side of a book, side of something, ID card. Use something to get a straight line. So far, so good. Let's do below it, just all the y's that are less than 1. Yeah. Now, there's two ways of doing this. There is the algorithm like we just did. Okay, you start here, then you go up this, over this, and all that. There's also the more straightforward. What does this actually mean? Okay. Where are all the y's that are less than 1? Well, here's y. Here's 1. Where are all the y's less than 1? Everything below it. So that's one way of graphing this. Just translating it exactly as it is. I want all the y's less than 1. Here's 1. All these y's, 0, negative, 2, negative 3, are all less than 1. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is saying, well, the y-intercept is 1, and since there's no x part, that's kind of like a 0x. So this is starting at positive 1, and it's a 0 slope, so we don't go up, we don't go down. It's just a horizontal line. Either way, I prefer that you understand the first one, though, that these are all the y values that are less than 1, and that's it. Alright, one more thing, what's missing? Yeah. So you can see we have shading here. So a couple ways of doing this, just watch up here first. One way is to say, I'm just going to do one by one. I want to shade everything greater than the red line. That means above. So I go ahead and I shade everything. That's one way of doing this. And then I do the same thing for the other one. I want to shade everything less than 1, everything below the blue line, and I do this. Okay? And then what you do is you go back and you erase everything that doesn't overlap. So I'd erase all this area and then all this area. So only one of the 4 regions should be shaded in, and it's where they overlap. The only area that should be shaded in, the final answer, is right here. That's where they overlap, and then you'd have to go through and erase any of the other shading. So these are all the points that are greater than or above the red line, but they're below the blue line, the other way. So it's above, ooh. Yeah, above, oh, same thing. Above this line, but below this line. That's what this is saying. Greater than the red, above it, less than the blue line, below it. So that's this area right here. So only one of the 4, all these will make 4 different regions, and only one of them should be shaded. Alright. Let's look at number 2. Anything different about number 2? Yeah, so over here we have greater than, less than, equal. These are just, they say strictly less than and strictly greater than. So let's go through the same process. Start at -2. And now when you do this, you have two options. You can do -1 over +2 x minus 2, or you can do 1 over -2 x minus 2. So the negative can either move to the top or the bottom, not both. Otherwise you'd have a negative over negative, which is positive. And that would be a different line altogether. So we can't turn this into a different line. We can move it to the top or the bottom, whatever suits us. Or do both. So we can go down 1, right 2, or we can go up 1, left 2. So down 1, right 2, or we can go up 1, left 2. Of course, if you just alternate, it'll just take you back and forth from those two dots, right? Down 1, right 2, up 1, left 2. That's why it's the same slope. We just there we go. Okay. We okay here? Good. Okay, what's wrong with this graph? What's wrong with this line?
It's not supposed to be dotted.
Supposed to be dotted. That's the only thing different here. Allie, put your toy away. Playing on your little phone. Put it away. There we go. Alright, so little details, right? Watching out for solid dot and that type of thing. Alright, go ahead and graph the second one and then do the shading. If you can, if you have a different color pen or something, you can use a different color if that's helpful. This. Check with mine, see if you got something similar or the same. So where does the shading go here? So we want it to be below the red line, the first line, but above the blue line. Where is that? Okay. So this is, let's see here. This is above both. This is above both of them. So that's not it. Here is below the blue, but above the red. Is that what we want? Below blue, above red? No. We want the reverse, right? So we want the reverse of that, so we go diagonally over here. So above blue, below red. So it's just this little tiny area here. And of course over here would be below both. That's below red and below the blue. That's below both of them. Okay, go ahead and do the last two, and then we'll talk about the back. Go to desmos.com, desmos.com. and then this will pop up and just hit launch calculator. Chrome? Yeah, do Chrome. Or try Internet Explorer actually first. Alright, so let's go ahead and actually plug in maybe like number 3 that we just did. So there's y right here. And then to get the less than or equal to, here's the less than, the greater than. If you get the equal to, hit more. And then click the button. And then we just type in -2x. And you can see the shading, everything pop up. And then +3, and I'll just move it up 3. Okay. And we can click right below it and do y is less than 4x minus 3. Okay. And that'll give us a full shot of what our graph should look like. So everybody has that? And that should be what you have on your paper as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and X these out. That deletes them. And let's flip it over. Let's go to something on the back. So let's put in just 0 star. Absolute value. So look for the absolute value. Where is it? Under more. Okay, there's absolute value. And then type in what? Inside x plus 2. And then on the outside, what is it going to do to the graph when you put in the +4? Yeah, moves it up 4. Now below it, I want you to do this. Once again, absolute value. I'm going to do x plus h. And it's going to ask you, do you want to add a slider? Okay, so, and then you click on the blue button. Okay. Then go back up to it, edit it one more time, and add a +k on the outside. And once again, I'll ask you if you want to add a slider, and then do it again. So now it looks something like this. Okay. And now what you can do is you can move these to try to match the one we already graphed. You can see right here that, well, that's about the right height. And then we can change this to right there, and you can see, well, 2 and 4, we're matching it to 2 and 4. But once again, this is the number on the outside, and go ahead and just slide it up and down. Notice how it moves the graph just up and down, and then of course this one moves it left and right. When I go right, it moves the graph left. So when the numbers get bigger, you can see the graph actually goes towards the negative. Alright, good. Now one more thing. Go back one more time. Click on it. We're going to edit it one more time. Okay. And I want you to add a letter A and add a slider. And now what does that do to the graph? Okay, so go ahead and slide that and see what it does. Yeah.
So ask Amber and Jared a quick question.
Okay. Amber and Jared, go fast outside. All right. Good. All right. Go ahead And record number 5 onto your graph. Just copy it down. And then use the one below to do number 6. So go ahead and move the sliders to what number 6 should be. So what should the A value be for number 6? And what should the K value be for number 6? The K value. Remember, it's that's right here. -2. Okay. And what should the H value be? There you go. So you can see number 5 and number 6. All right, go ahead and record that onto your sheet. And I want you to do the similar thing for 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yep, copy them down, 5 and 6. Yep. Start column, you mean? No, there's no.
This one says absent. But
Oh yeah. Who? Hey, John. Okay. We'll just put whatever grade it was in there. All right. Okay. Again, you can do the same thing for number 7 and 8. Go ahead and number 7, just type it in, but for number 8, just move the parent graph, which will be really starting at 0 here. Notice I can drag the graph over a little bit. And then for number 8, what is the A value on number 8? -3. So what does that do to the graph? When I change this to -3, what will it do to the graph? Yeah, it's opening downwards, right? And then the H value inside is equal to 3? Well, now it would be x minus 3, but we want x plus 3, right? So that means I need this to be -3. Well, that's -3. Now it would be x minus -3, which is x plus 3. And then the k value is +2. And yeah. And you can play with it. There's more stuff on here. You can. So again, just want to get you guys to get a feel for how things move depending on what number you're changing, and it's not just a random occurrence on depending on what your numbers are. They just could go anywhere. There's a very definite pattern. And the last two, I'd say, just go ahead and type them in as is. Don't do the sliders on the last two, because they're not exactly similar to one another. But hopefully just you seeing this tool and seeing how easy it is to graph different things and how it is to show how numbers change and what it does to the graph will be very valuable. We'll try this as well with some step functions tomorrow if we have time. I think we will. Yeah. Okay.